So when we make our fan and steel incision, we're going to come down onto the rectus fascia. And as we expose the rectus fascia, we're going to try to come as far distally, not just on top of the pubic body, but we're actually going to want to come down over the front of the pubic body, anteriorly here like this, so that we see the rectus fascia coming down, inserting on the anterior aspect as well as the superior aspect of the pubic bodies. You have to keep in mind that the rectus fascia has a very broad aponeurotic sort of insertion on the pubis. It's not just superiorly, it goes all the way down the front of the pubic body. So here's rectus fascia. We'll just expose that a little bit more. So here we have the rectus fascia exposed anteriorly. Remember that above the umbilicus there's a posterior and an anterior rectus fascia, but below the umbilicus here there's really only an anterior rectus fascia. On the posterior surface of the rectus there's only one thin layer of transversalis fascia. So the midline generally can be found by looking for the decussation or crossing of the rectus fibers here and here. And remember, we want to come down as anterior as we possibly can. So here's the decussation or crossing of the anterior rectus fibers. Sometimes you can actually palpate the linea alba, but we're going to come right through here. And it's important to remember that we want to try and split the rectus as high proximally as we can. The thing that makes people the most nervous about doing this is that they inadvertently get into the peritoneal cavity. If you do get into the peritoneal cavity, all we have to do from that standpoint is take a little bit of chromic and just close it up. So if we look here, we can see that the division between the two halves, or the two heads of the rectus, is going to be right in here. We'll come right through there, and we're going to elevate this portion of rectus away from the left side. And then you'll see that posteriorly here, we're going to have that one very thin layer of transversalis fascia, which is right here. So we've found the interval between the right and the left half of the rectus, gone through the linea alba. And now we've split our rectus nice and high, at least a good 10 centimeters up from the pubic symphysis. And this fine layer of fascia is the transversalis fascia here posterior to the rectus. And we haven't gone through it yet. We're just mobilizing the right rectus and taking it over to the contralateral side. Now we're going to relax on this retractor, and we're going to put it distally so that we can see down the front of the pubic body now. And I'm going to take a knife, and we're going to now release the rectus off of the superior and then the anterior aspect of the pubic bodies here. It's important to recognize that if we just were to release only the superior portion attachment right here in the pubic body and leave all of this part still attached, we're not going to be able to mobilize the rectus like we want to. So we're going to come down the front of the pubic body like this. We're not going to dissect or release the symphyseal ligament, but we are going to take the rectus off of the front of the pubic body like this. So that's a sleeve of rectus right there that we're bringing up off of the anterior aspect of the pubic body. And I'm going to keep doing this, keep coming out laterally here, like that. There's still, the rectus is still inserted distally in the pubic body and still inserted laterally on the pubic body. But I'm just taking the more medial and anterior portion of it off, coming this way underneath it, and we're going to get out to the pubic tubercle. You can see that we still have our transversalis fascia intact right here, and we're going to address that in a second. So as I get to this point here, you can see that I've taken this whole sleeve of rectus, and now we're laying it over, and the final part really is just going to be getting out right here, right to that point right there, which is now lateral to the pubic tubercle.